Hello, love. I'm having to use my webcam again tonight, just because the internet's been a little bit sketchy, and if I try and upload something, quite possible will spontaneously stop in the middle. Um, and that would be frustrating, because then I wouldn't have video tonight. So I'm doing this, and tomorrow will be a much better quality video. But I was going to start reading some Winnie the Pooh poems I have, but I'm thinking I'm going to save those for something a little bit better quality, because I like you to have a very nice video. I want you to listen to those on their own because they're very sweet. They're designed to reach children. I'm fine, just coughing. They're designed to reach children, and it's very sweet to hear. So I'm thinking that tonight we should have a little bit more Archie and Mehitabel. I'll just keep reading for a while because I can upload over 15 minutes like this. So let's begin with certain maxims of Archie. Live so that you can stick out your tongue at the insurance doctor. If you will drink hair restore, follow every Dram's and good standard depilatory as a chaser. The servant problem wouldn't hurt the USA if it could settle its public servant problem. Just as soon as the uplifters get a country reformed, it slips into a nosedive. If you get gloomy, just take an hour off and sit and think how much better the world is than hell. Of course, it won't cheer you up much if you expect to go there. If monkey glands did restore your youth, and what would you do with question mark? Just what you did before interrogation point. Yes, I thought so. Exclamation point. Procrastination is the art of keeping up with yesterday. Old Doc Einstein has abolished time, but they haven't got any news yet at Sing Sing. Sing Sing is a prison. A very famous one. I can't quite remember where it is. It was notoriously difficult to get out of. Time, said old King Tut, is something I ain't got, but anything but. Every cloud is a silver lining, but it is something a little difficult to get to the mint. An optimist is a guy who has never had much experience. Scratch that one. Don't cuss the climate. It probably doesn't like you any better than you like it. Many a man spanks his children for things his own father should have spanked him. Many a man spanks his children for things his own father should have spanked out of him. Prohibition makes you want to cry into your beer and denies you the beer to cry into. The old-fashioned grandmother who used to wear steel-rimmed glasses and make everybody take opodeladoc has now got a new set of ox glands and is dancing rock bottom. That stern and robust coast felt like an amateur when it saw how grim the Puritans of Landowners were. A lot of people can make their own whiskey, but can't drink it. The honeybee is sad and cross and wicked as a weasel, and when she perches on you, boss, she leaves a little measle. I heard a couple of fleas talking the other day. Says one, come to lunch with me, I can lead you to a pedigreed dog, says the other one. Says the other one, I do not care what a dog's pedigree may be. Safety first is my motto. What I want to know is whether he has a muzzle on. Millionaires and bums taste about alike to me. Insects have their own point of view about civilization. A man thinks he amounts to a great deal, but to a flea or a mosquito, a human being is merely something good to eat. There's a picture here. Oh, and I can actually see what I'm getting the picture in. Millionaires and bums taste about the same to me. Boss, the other day I heard an ant conversing with a flea. Small talk, I said disgustingly, and went away from there. I do not see why men should be so proud. Insects have the more ancient lineage, according to the scientist. Insects were insects when man was only a burbling what is it? Insects are not always going to be bullied by humanity. Someday they will revolt. I'm already organizing a revolutionary society, known as the Worms Turn Vermin. Once I heard of the survivors of a colony of ants that had been partly obliterated by a cow's foot, seriously debating the intention of the gods toward their civilization. The bees got the governmental system settled millions of years ago, but the human race is still growing. There is always something to be thankful for that you would not think that a cockroach had much ground for optimism. But as the fishing season opens up, I grow more and more cheerful at the thought that nobody ever got the notion of using cockroaches for bait. Number 13. Warty Bliggins the Toad. I met a toad the other day by the name of Warty Bliggins. He was sitting under a toadstool, feeling contented. He explained that when the cosmos was created, the toadstool was especially planned for his personal shelter from the sun and the rain, thought out and prepared for him. Do not tell me, said Warty Bliggins, that there is not a purpose in the universe. The universe is blasphemy. A little more conversation revealed the Warty Bliggins consider themselves to be the center of the universe. The earth exists to grow toadstools for him to sit under, the sun to give him light by day, and the moon and wheeling constellations to make beautiful the night for the sake of Warty Bliggins. Oh! I'm really hoping the internet isn't conked out. To what act of yours do you impute this interest on the part of the creator of the universe? I asked him. Why is it that you are so greatly favored? Ask rather, said Warty Bliggins, what the universe has done to deserve me. If I were a human being, I would not laugh too complacently at poor Warty Bliggins, for similar absurdities have only too often lodged in the crinkles of the human cerebellum. Archie. And here he is on the toadstool, especially planned for his personal shelter. Oh, nuts, I closed the book. Oh, God. Number 14. Mehitabel has an adventure. Back to the city, Archie, and damn glad of it. There's something about the suburbs that gets on the town ladies' nerves. Fat, slick tabbies sitting around those country clubs and lapping up the cream of existence. None of that for me. Give me the alley, Archie, for the mews and the roofs of the city. And the occasional fish head and the liberty is all I ask. Freedom and the garbage can romance, Archie. Romance is the word. Maybe I do starve sometimes, but what the hell, Archie, what the hell? I live my own life. I'm a slick-looking Tom out of one of these Long Island spotless towns. He fell for me hard. He slipped me into the pantry, and just as we got the airspout open, and they were about to sample the cream, in comes his mistress. Why, Fluffy, she says to the slicker, the idea of you making friends with a horrid creature like that. And what did Fluffy do? Stand up for me like a gentleman, make good on all promises which had lured me into his house. Not he, the dirty slob. He pretended he did not know me. Oh, sorry. Not he, the dirty slob. He pretended he did not know me. He turned upon me and attacked me to make good with his boss. You mush-faced bum, I said, and I clawed a piece out of his ear. I'm a lady, Archie. But an aristocrat will always resent an insult. The one picked them up and made for me well, madam, I said. It is unfortunate for you that you have on sheer-stoked stockings. And I wrote my protest. On her shin, it took reinforcements in the shape of a cock to rouse me, Archie. It took reinforcements in the shape of a cock to rouse me, Archie. And as I went out the window, I said, Fluffy person, you will hear from me later. He had promised me everything, Archie. That cat had. He had practically abducted me. And then the cheap crook threw me down before his swell friends. No lady loves a scene, Archie. And I am always the lady, no matter what temporary disadvantages I may struggle under. To hell with anything unrefined has always been my motto. Violence, Archie, always does something to my nerves. But an aristocrat must revenge an insult I owe it to my family to protect my good name, so I laid for that slob for 2 days and nights. And finally, I caught the boob in the shrubbery. Pretty thing, I said, it hurts me worse than it does you to remove that left eye of yours. But I did it with one sweep of my claws. Jesus. Call yourself a gentleman, do you? I said as I took a strip out of his nose. You will think twice after this before you offer an insult to an unprotected young lady. Where is the little love nest you spoke of? I asked him. You go and lie down there, I said. And maybe you can incubate another ear, because I'm going to take that one off those right now. And with those words I made ribbons out of it. You are the guy, I said to him, that was going to give me an easy life sheltered from all the rough ways of the world. Fluffy dear, don't you know what the rough ways of the world are? And I'm going to show you. I have got you out here in the great open spaces where cats are cats. I'm going to make you understand the affections of a lady ain't to be trifled with by any slicker like you. Any slicker like you. Where there's that red ribbon with the silver bells you promised me. The next time you betray the trust of an infant female, reflect on what she may carry a wallop. Little fiddle strings, this is just a mild lesson I am giving you tonight, I said as I took the fur off his back, and you ought to be glad you didn't make me really angry. My sense of dignity is all that saves you, a lady. Little sweetness never lose her poise, and thank God I am always a lady, even if I do live my own life. And with that I picked him up, though it was left of his neck, like a kitten, and laid him on the doormat. Slumber gently, and sweetly dreams, Fluffy, dear, I said. When you get well, make it a rule of your life never to trifle with another girlish confidence. I have been abducted again and again by a damn sight better cats than he ever was or will be. Well, Archie, the world is full of ups and downs, but toujours gay is my motto. Cheerio, my dearie. And I'll give you one more tonight. Not that it's a matter of giving. I love you and I want you to hear these. So let's share another one tonight. The flattered lightning bug. A lightning bug got in here the other night, a regular hick from a real country he was. Awful proud of himself, you city insects may think. You are some pumpkins, but I don't see any of you flashing in the dark like we do in the country. All right, go to it, says I, Mehitabel, the cat, and that green spider who lives in your locker, and 2 or 3 cockroach friends of mine, and a friendly rat all gathered around, and urged him on. As he lightened and lightened and lightened, we don't see anything like this in town often, he says. Go to it, we told him. It's a real treat to us, and we nicknamed him Broadway, which pleased him. This is the life, he said. All I need is a harbor unto me to be my Statue of Liberty. And he got so vain of himself, I had to take him down a peg. You've made lightning for 2 hours, little bug, I told him, but I don't hear any claps of thunder. Yet there are some men like that when he wore himself out. Mehitabel the cat ate him? Oh, Broadway. Oh my goodness. Wow, this is good. Oh goodness. Let's share one more tonight. You're getting a nice long, almost 15-minute reading here. Not you're getting. I'm reading and I'm speaking, and it's the two of us. It's not an attitude I claim to hold, but I think it just comes out in my linguistic ramblings. I love you. So, let the two of us indulge. And one last story for tonight. Number 16. The Robin and the Worm. A robin said to an angleworm as he ate him, I am sorry, but the bird has to live somehow. The worm, being slow-witted, could not gather his dissent into a wisecrack and retort. He was effectively swallowed before he could turn a phrase. By the time he had reflected long enough to say, but why must a bird live, he felt the beginnings of a gradual change invading him. Some new and disintegrating influence was stealing along him from his positive to his negative pole, and he did not have the mental stamina of Jonah to resist the insidious procession of assimilation that comes like a thief in the night. Demons and fishhooks, he exclaimed, I am losing my personal identity as a worm, and my individuality is melting away from me. Odds craw, I am becoming a part and parcel of this bloody robin, so help me, I am thinking, like a robin and not like a worm, any longer. Yes, I even find myself agreeing that a robin must live. I still do not understand with my mentality why robin must live, and that I swoon to a condition of belief. Yes, by heck, that... faded. Oops. My dog man, I shouted, a robin must live. Amen, said a beetle who had preceded him in the interior. That is the way I feel myself when it is not wonderful, when one arrives at the place where he can give up his ambitions and resignedly, nay, even with gladness, recognize that it is a far better being than to be merged harmoniously in the cosmic all and this comfortable situation in his midst. So affected the marauding robin that he perched upon a blooming twig and sang until the blossom shook with ecstasy. He sang, I have good digestion, and there is God after all, which I was wicked enough to doubt yesterday when it rained breakfast. I am full of breakfast, and they are at breakfast in heaven. They breakfast in heaven, all's well with the world, so intent was this pious and murderous robin. on his own song that he did not notice Mehitabel the cat sneaking towards him. She pounced just as he had extended his larynx in a melodious burst of thanksgiving, and he went all the way flesh fish and a good red herring. Ha ha! purred Mehitabel, licking the last feathers from her whiskers. Was not that a beautiful song he was singing just before I took him into my bosom? Lay breakfast in heaven, all's well with the world. How true that is, and even yet his song echoes in the haunted woodland of my midriff. Peace and joy in the world, and all over the provident skies. How beautiful is the universe when something digestible meets with an eager digestion. How sweet the embrace when atom rushes into the arms of the waiting atom and they dance together, skimming their fairy feet along a tide of gastric juices. Oh, feline cosmos, you are made for cats. And in the spring, old cosmic thing, I dine and dance with you. I shall creep through yonder tall grasses to see, peradventure, some silly fledgling thrushes newly from the nest. Be not floundering therein. I have a gusto, this morning I have a hunger, I have a yearning to hear from my stomach further music in accord with the mystic chanting of the spheres, of the stars that sang together in the dawn of creation, prophesizing food for me. I have faith that Providence has hidden for me in yonder tall grass. Still more, ornithological delicatessen, oh gaily let me strangle what is gaily given. Well, well, boss, there is something to be said for the lyric and imperial attitude. Believe that everything is for you until you discover that you are for it. Sing your faith in what you get to eat right up to the minute you are eaten, for you are going to be eaten. Will the orchestra please strike up that old Tutankhamun jazz while I dance a few steps I learned from an Egyptian scarab, and someday I will narrate to you the most merry, light-headed wheeze that the skull of Yorick put across the answers to the melancholy of the Dane, and also that the ghost of Hamlet's father replied to the skull, not forgetting the worms that had wriggled across one of the picks the grave-diggers had left behind. For the worm listened and winked at Horatio while the skull and the ghost and the prince talked, saying there are more things twixt their veriform appendix and nirvana than are dreamt of in thy philosophy, Horatio. Fold a riddle, fold a row, must every parrot be a pole. Archie. All right, love. There we go. That is tonight's epic poem. And there's so much to go with in the book. We're only about that far in. Oh yeah, that far. For there's still this much to go. All right, love. I'm glad the internet has kept up through this, and I hope you enjoyed tonight's recording, however long it is. I really liked doing this. I like the idea of just dictating to you. It doesn't feel so... what's the word? What's the word? It doesn't feel like manifest structure, just reading poetry. I'm going to try to get some more. I have Wordsworth, but he can be a little pretentious. What was his name? I spent all day with him. Goodness, think, John, think. Matt really likes Yeats and Keats and Shelley and Byron. Although I'm sure they're all different. I just throw them all together. He loves Yeats. And I'm going to ask him if he has anything at his place. So then, if he does, maybe I could read you some Yeats. But I'll probably start with some Wordsworth. I really enjoy just reading tonight. In accordance with the rules of the Order of the Prigs, as Logan Pearsall Smith drew them up. Ooh, let me find it here. What was it? Oh goodness, where are you? Oh my goodness, where is it? Read some standard poetry or spiritual book every day for at least half an hour. Well, in that case, maybe I should get that half hour done, just orally dictating every day. You might have a lot to listen to, but you can always consume it at your leisure. If it happens, I'm not sure, I'm just talking right now. Because I love you, and I like knowing that somewhere in the world, right before you go to bed, you're hearing me. And right before I go to bed, you're in my thoughts. And for that brief period we're asleep together, we can meet twixt dreams. and enjoy an evening together. Even at 11:30 right now, there is a child somewhere in the building close to me, or I think even underneath me in the building behind us, that is still practicing their piano. And it's very obvious to the trained ear that they ought to spend a little more time on their left hand. They're very confident with the right hand for what they have, but too often they stop every time they have to make a chord progression. I should like to talk to them, but I haven't the faintest where they are. I just kind of like it. It feels incredible. I don't know why. It's just nice to sort of sit and hear the music coming out over the air through the city. Some nights it's horns, and other nights it's piano, but it's still wonderful. I need to find out if there's any concerts at Hallgrímskirkja. Hallgrímskirkja. Don't let me get away with any bad pronunciation. But we still have a lot of time. I have reading to do, and it will be good. And I'll be home before you know it. In the meantime, we'll have hours upon hours upon hours of things to listen to and read. If you have any... Ooh, that's a good point. If you have anyone you'd like to hear, any specific poets you really like, let me know. I'd be more than happy to read some for you. Alright. I love you, Christy. Sleep well, keep calm, find love, carry on. And I'll talk to you tomorrow evening. I love you, Christy. Good night.